Hi, everybody. My name is Jack Allen Willard. The name of our short video, Democracy Dies via Progressives, not the other way around, as they tried to spin out there on the campaign trail for the last year, but especially in the last month or so. I'm recording this late Friday night on November the 11th. Was in Oradell, New Jersey today. Not my first time there because my lady is going to be probably having surgery in the winter. It looks like maybe January in Hackensack. I'm told the Hackensack Hospital is a very good hospital, and it looks like I'll be spending some time there as we have been preparing with the doctor some more testing, pre-surgical testing in Oradell, a lovely place, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from Paramus. Only about 8,000 people there, and just a beautiful community. I was very, very surprised to find something that close to the city that is not a cluttered mess, that is well kept and really very, very nice. So now, for my Bob Joyce fans, it's probably going to be a very short video coming soon. A little bit of an update, some tidbits, because you write to me, you write to my email, jackthefairguy@gmail.com. And you are always hungry for more Bob Joyce. I hear that sometimes in the comment sections as well of the two videos that are up right now. Bob Joyce, Elvis Evidence, and Rapid Fire, the most successful video I have ever done. And that's about 33,000 plus hits right now. And our latest video, Reasons Why Bob Joyce May or May Not Be Elvis, that continues to grow. It continues to grow. And so we'll have an update video, a short one that'll be coming up in the not too distant future, maybe very soon, I'm not sure. But we're going to kind of do an update here on the 2022 midterms in this election. Thank you for the nice comments on the Yankee video that we just put up. The video is entitled, "The Yankees Will Not Win Another World Series." Something like that in the title. And someone said, "Oh, I like the way you talk about the Yankees. Talk more, do more Yankee videos." You know, that's the thing that happens, when you hit a particular topic that somebody likes, they now feel you're going to be a wealth of knowledge and have endless things to say. But I pretty much said everything I had to say for now about the New York Yankees. I love them. But with Hal Steinbrenner in charge and not much pitching changes, I don't care who you get to hit. We saw what happened, didn't we, in the playoffs when great pitching met great hitting. When will Hal Steinbrenner learn that lesson? So watch that video. Watch the one mofo rule. Nobody's watching that right now. It's got a couple hundred views, but it talks about a life occurrence that happens to every one of us. And I would love to know your encounter with mofos. And I explain all that in the video. So here we are, waiting for Arizona and Nevada to finish counting those votes. Things are starting to look pretty good for Kari Lake in Arizona as of this recording. They're going to find enough votes, it looks like, to overturn her opponent, who seems like she is such a bad choice for re-election. But do I have any faith in the majority of voters in the country? Do I have any faith? Two words: John Fetterman. It is totally unbelievable. It is totally unbelievable who a man who wants to open up the prisons and let all the bad people out, who is not a big proponent of the police, certainly, and law and order, who basically never held a real job, who goes around in a hoodie. And unfortunately, the poor man had a stroke, and he is obviously very much impaired. He's at risk for having another one. I certainly hope that doesn't happen to him. But the great state of Pennsylvania, and I love Pennsylvania, I really, really do, elected him over Dr. Oz. It is something that makes you wonder. Right here in the great state of New York, well, it used to be great, not so great anymore, though there's some great people in the state of New York, certainly some very wonderful, talented people too, and some hard workers. Um, Everyone thought that the race would be close between Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin, but I was at the precinct, the polling station here in the small city outside of New York that I live in, which is known as the Sanctuary City. And my lady was in conversation, so I waited for her and watched people walk in and watch people walk out. They didn't drive to the polling station. Many of the voters I was seeing, they were often very young, 20s maybe, something like that. They didn't drive because they don't have cars, see. If you're looking for bennies, if you're looking for freebies, if you're looking for uh, an easy way to go in terms of getting what you need for free, there's no better state than New York. There's no better state than that. And Kathy Hochul, in the last few weeks, well, she gave the nurses a raise. I didn't know that would be under her control. Which nurses she was able to raise the pay for, I'm not sure. State workers, I would imagine, those who work in state facilities, perhaps. Just before the election, she flooded the subways. Now, there has been horrific crime in the subways, horrific crime, and she has done nothing about it. And when Lee Zeldin kept bringing the crime issue up, she says, I don't know why this is so important to you. I don't know why this is so important to you. And then we have this DA Bragg here in New York, just like there's a problem DA in San Francisco and out in Portland and many other places, allowing, in some cases, violent criminals to just walk out. One guy walked out after his wife or ex-wife had called the police on him, walked out the next day and shot her dead in front of his children. Something like that, the DA should be the one in jail, don't you think? How did we ever get to the point where violent criminals are getting out? And when you sanction shoplifting, when you immediately release them and basically don't hold them to immediate consequences, then we see the old West, the wild, wild West has returned. People going into stores, groups, gangs, and taking whatever they want, whether it be the Gucci store or the local convenience store. Why pay for beer when you can just go in and grab a case and walk out with it and whatever else you want? There's been so many killings, so much violence in New York, Chicago, Mary Lightfoot, maybe the worst mayor ever. And yet it keeps going on. It keeps going on. And here we had Lee Zeldin, Congressman Lee Zeldin, who wanted to make a difference. He was going to get rid of DA Bragg on day number one. He was going to turn New York around. He could have saved New York City from becoming the kind of place that nobody's going to want to bring their family to anymore. No one's going to want to live here. They've left in droves to states like Florida. Even running into a hurricane, they don't want to come back to. They don't want to come back to New York. They don't want to come back to New York. There will be states that are close to Florida, like South Carolina, that'll see more and more population inland, because they can get some hurricanes too. I lived in South Carolina for almost 2 years, and for the most part, I liked it very much. Um, so we had this wonderful opportunity to turn the state of New York around, and all the people upstate were on board. He got tremendous support up there, but not in Manhattan, not in the Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn. No, they came out in droves for Kathy Hochul. These are not political people. They don't even care about the squad or what have you, but they do care about free stuff. They do care about free stuff. And of course, heck, if I get pregnant, I'll just have an abortion. I've had two already. What the heck? Have another. Have another. They want all that, and then of course there's the forgiveness of student debt. Now, many of the people that voted for Joe Biden and voted in the midterms don't even go to college, but the students that did are excited and they've got great plans for the money they're going to save and the taxpayers are going to pay. They're thinking about things like Cancun, a trip to Cancun. Many people go to college, and it turns out to be 4 years of just a total waste of money. Total waste of money. I think I've said this before in a video. I know a guy, a good guy, who really cares about being a writer. He took English Lit, I think. He came out of 4 years of expensive college, private Catholic college here in New York. And what does he do now? He is the guy who goes to the stores with those rugs, those throw rugs that you see in department stores and showrooms and what have you. He takes away the dirty rugs and he puts down the freshly cleaned rugs. That's what he does. And he has probably, I don't know, $80,000 in student debt. He's not using his college. He's not using it. This happens over and over again. You really have to think about it before you waste 4 years in college. Now, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an architect, any number of positions, certain positions in business, absolutely, you need to go to college, yeah. And you have to be passionate about it. And yes, we have to find a way to keep these costs down because you have nurses and what have you. We have so many people that were working full time as they went to nursing school and what have you, and that's too much. That's too much. So it's all about being reasonable, including on things like prison reform. I'm for prison reform, but not the kind of prison reform that lets violent criminals out. I don't believe anyone should be put in solitary confinement unless it's for a short time because they are obviously misbehaving and causing staff and causing other inmates a problem. If they are just too violent and what have you, maybe some of them should be in an institution, but even there they have to be kept away from the general population. But we should not treat people cruel. We have had the Rockefeller drug laws in the past here in New York, harsh sentences for marijuana. So no, I don't believe prisoners should be treated poorly when they're in prison. And we are seeing less and less tolerance for that kind of thing. But it's swinging completely in the other direction where criminals are now being cited as heroes. Their behavior is being labeled as acceptable, and we understand why they would be doing this, and the cops are the enemies. Now, there's good cops and bad cops. Bad cops, hey, you have to face the music. I'm all for these body cams and what have you. If you act inappropriately, well, then you have to pay the price. You have no right to become a dictator when you put on a badge. Yet, when an officer gives instructions, you have to respect those instructions. If you have a problem with the officer, you file a complaint afterwards. You file a complaint. But we have a world that's gone crazy. We have a world that is filled with violence and spoiled brats. And the candidates that are winning, the candidates that are winning are often being voted in by young people. The idea that was peddled by people, high profile Democrats in the 2022 midterms, that, oh, if the Republicans get in again, that'll be the end of democracy. We'll never be able to get them out. That's just stupid. Barack Obama doesn't believe that. Bill Clinton doesn't believe that. Hillary Clinton doesn't believe that. Joe Biden doesn't know where he is. That's a whole other story. But they don't believe that for a minute, because as the older people die off, more and more of the progressive mindset, so it seems right now, is going to envelop America, and it's eventually going to destroy America. We're going to be a bankrupt nation. So now we have the Arizona races looking pretty good for Kari Lake as I speak to you right now, who's running for governor. They still haven't found enough votes to put her over the top, but she's running against the incumbent, and that woman seems like it's the last person you'd want in office. The last person. Nevada, yeah, they're still counting the votes there. And will the Republicans regain control of Congress, of the House, by a slim margin? They seem to think so, but who knows? There's shenanigans going on out there. There's shenanigans going on. And they got all mixed up in the state of Arizona, recounting votes that had already been counted and what have you, votes that were counted dumped in with votes that hadn't been counted. And you know, it has been said before, in these particular states, when it goes to 3, 4, 5 days to come up with a tabulation, it often seems to, in the very end, it often seems to go the way of the Democrats. So everybody's watching. Great news out of Georgia. Stacey Abrams is once again defeated. This time she actually called Governor Kemp and did concede. And also, it was great to see some of the people like John Kennedy. He made it sound, John Kennedy in Louisiana made it sound like, you know, he was in serious trouble. But I think his partner, his opponent, the Democrat, got like 17% of the vote. 17% of the vote. John Kennedy is a legend in the United States Senate. Rand Paul was reelected. Very, very good. And it was funny what happened in Alaska. It got very little press, but Sarah Palin, in her home state where she was the governor, who left, basically quit on her state with just about no notice, she got like 26% of the vote. So she is done, you know. I mean, people remember when you do something like that. They remember when it's kind of revealed to the world that you're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. You know, you're not the brightest bulb on the tree. So even though she was a Republican, I wouldn't want to see her back. I wouldn't want to see her back. So the could come down to the race in Georgia, which is now going to be a runoff between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock, who's a minister who tried to run his wife over with a car, and has been tied to Islam, even though he claims to be a Christian minister. He has, a lot of stuff in his background. Herschel Walker has some stuff too, Certainly his son is disappointed with him. I think in Herschel Walker, we see a true Christian man who has grown over the years, who loves the Lord and is sincere in wanting to keep Georgia as a state that reflects American values, that reflects a God-fearing, sincere approach to government and not too much government, So it's going to be wild till December 6th. I'm sure Obama's on the way and the Clintons. And I hope everyone who's prominent in the Republican Party makes a stop in Georgia, including the celebrities and the musicians and what have you, and gives it all they have to make Herschel Walker the next senator of the state of Georgia. We've got some other things to talk to you about here. I may tape another video tonight. And all I can say, folks, is don't let them fool you. Democracy, love for the values, for the Constitution, for coming against the horror of things like partial birth abortion, for free speech, for less government, that is the Republican Party. That's the Republican Party. It's not the progressives. You know, we have Rashida at the front of this video. I think she hates America. The Squad? No. Oh, well, don't worry. The Squad is not really taken seriously. They will be taken more and more seriously with their jive, you know. And, of course, there was Rashida interviewing the chairman, the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, asking him about electric cars and things like that. And, you know, he was having none of it, and she was trying to say that, well, everyone should take their money out of Chase, you know. But, yeah, I have some friends that work at a popular car dealership here in the city that I live in, here in November of 2022, and I said, do you get a lot of people come in and asking for electric cars? And the answer is no, not even hybrids. They don't want them, especially all electric. They don't want them. They know what kind of a nightmare is going to come when we have charging stations that go on for miles, and the grid can't handle it, and Joe Biden wants to close down all the coal machines. Joe Manchin in West Virginia, it is time for you to become a hero again, like we used to think of you, and change your party. Change your party. Come over to the Republican side. Tell the people of West Virginia, that man lied to me. That man lied to me, and I was fooled, but I'm not going to be fooled again. Yes, he offered a pipeline to go through the state of West Virginia, but he wants to close down the coal mines in West Virginia and in other states. I hope he realizes that his people are furious with him in many cases, and the only antidote, the only road back, I think, Joe Manchin, is for you to join the Republican Party. We're hoping now we're going to get rid of the likes of Nancy Pelosi. People will celebrate. I think we should have a party. Wouldn't it be great if we could get rid of Chuck Schumer as the leader of the Senate? Oh, man. A brood of vipers, a brood of vipers. My name is Jack Allen Willard. Thanks for watching. Your comments are welcome, including via my email, jackthefairguy@gmail.com. jackthefairguy, F-A-I-R, @gmail.com. Keep the faith. Pray for Georgia if you're watching this before the December 6th runoff. We have to save this country. We have to save America. So wonderful what happened in the great state of Florida. Also in Long Island, New York went Republican. There were some really big, bright spots, and it's absolutely thrilling to see that. I hope there's some more good days for America ahead. We have to hold back the forces of evil that are surrounding us at this time. Let's not let them destroy America.